Starting on June 1st, my buddy from work, and we hang out outside of work as well, Kyle Smith, he's a great guy, and we're going to be heading all the way out to Kayaking, Alaska, where we begin our 700-mile sea kayaking journey from Kayaking north and ending in the capital of Alaska, Juneau. The route will follow for about half the time. It'll follow the famous Inside Passes, which is a protected waterway of channels that boats follow to avoid the more rough Pacific Ocean. And it's commonly kayaked by several people each year. But we're going to be veering away from that about halfway through, aiming towards an island further west called Chichagof Island. And it's on that island that I have some family roots, actually. My great-great-grandfather has a mountain, Freeburn Mountain, named after him. William Freeburn was his name. And since my mother mentioned it to me probably over 10 years ago, I just got it in my head that I had to climb that mountain. It's finally becoming a reality after 10 years of dreaming, 3 years of pseudo-planning, and about 6 to 8 months now of really getting down to the nitty-gritty of what it would take to actually set foot on that mountain. A mountain named after an ancestor. I thought that was pretty cool, and the more I looked into it, I realized that this mountain is in the heart of a wilderness designated area, and this is land that has no roads, it has no trails, and it's very isolated. So I thought, wouldn't it be amazing if I could start a trend in my family of going out and climbing this mountain that will look the same 10 generations from now as it does right now. And once that was in my head, I couldn't get it out, and started to look into the details of really making it become a reality. Maybe the one easy part of the trip is that the entire route, all 700 miles of it, are going to be taking place in either national forest, national wilderness areas, or national parks. And that means you can camp almost literally anywhere you want to, which is pretty amazing. You can have fires every single night. There's that openness of the land that makes planning for it easy, because we know that we can just camp anywhere the opportunity really provides itself. We don't have to make it to a very specific point to land and to set up camp, because the reality is currents and changing tides and the weather, they might force us to turn in for the night earlier than we would have planned. And if we couldn't camp somewhere because it wasn't allowed, that would be pretty prohibitive on the trip. My time at Richmond was just simply fantastic. Obviously, the athletic connection is that I was on the men's cross-country and track and field teams running long distance, and the mental side of things, the physical side of things, that being on those teams helps any kind of journey like this. It really helps make up a lot of that difference in just knowing that you can physically pull something like this off. And Coach Taylor, of course, has been more than helpful and more than supportive of me as I do various adventures like this, both when I was at school and after I've graduated. Some of the longer kayaks I've done out here on the bay, when you're at mile 14 and you're going into a headwind and some chop from other vessels and tides, you find yourself digging down to that same mental place that I would when I was approaching mile 5 of a 10K on the track or something of that sort. It's a different physical emotion, but it's the same mental well that you gotta dip into for that kind of self-motivation and encouragement. So without a doubt, my experiences at Richmond athletically are gonna be just very invaluable on this trip. Setting foot on top of Freeburn Mountain, I think, will be a pretty incredible moment for me, because it will be not only a family ancestry moment, but it'll be really the culmination of years of dreaming about that very moment. So I'm curious to see how I will react and feel once I actually step foot on top of that mountain. And it's not just a hill, it's a 3,200-foot mountain that rises straight from sea level 3 miles to the peak, and it's jagged rock, so it should be pretty spectacular, but I'll have to see how I feel once I'm there.